Whenever a government claims to have the people's interest at heart, you need to think again. In the entire history of mankind, there has never been a political elite sincerely concerned about the well-being of regular people. What makes any of us think that it is different now? If the age of enlightenment has brought forth anything, then certainly this. Never take anything any government tells you at face value. Always question everything any government does or does not do. Always look for ulterior motives and always ask, cui bono, who benefits? Whenever a political elite pushes an agenda this hard and resorts to extortion and manipulation to get their way, you can almost always be sure your benefit is definitely not what they had at heart. As far as I'm concerned, I will not be vaccinated with anything that has not been properly vetted and tested and has shown no sound scientific evidence that the benefits outweigh the disease itself and possible long-term side effects, which, to this day, we don't know anything about. I will not be reduced to a mere guinea pig by getting vaccinated with an experimental drug. And I will most assuredly not get vaccinated because my government tells me to and promises in return I will be granted freedom. Let's be clear about one thing. No one grants me freedom, for I am a free person. So I dare the European Commission and the German government. Throw me in jail, lock me up and throw away the key for all I care. But you will never be able to coerce me into being vaccinated if I, the free citizen that I am, choose not to be vaccinated.
Wow, the most powerful speech I have seen on the subject. That woman who speaks perfect English is actually a German member of the European Parliament. Her name is Christine Anderson. She's with the Alternative for Deutschland Party, and she joins me live from Brussels, the European Union headquarters. Now, Mrs. Anderson, what a powerful speech. What motivated you to say that? I haven't seen such strong words from any political elected person in any country. What moved you to those words?
Well, it's just, you know, what we have been seeing, which is going on for almost 2 years now. It has been a step-by-step reduction of civil rights and liberties. And that has always been kind of my topic. That's why I'm actually here. I want to fight for, you know, our fundamental rights. But at that point, it had just gotten to a point where people, they just drag along and they do whatever they're told. And it just kind of, you know, I just kind of sort of exploded because I'm really frustrated that people don't seem to get it, what is happening here. And now we're talking about, you know, the imposition, basically forcing people to get a vaccination. And the majority of the society, they think it's perfectly fine, you know, it is just a vaccination. Well, this whole thing started with, you know, we're just going to stay home for a couple of days. We're just gonna, you know, wear masks for a few weeks. We're just gonna, you know. Yeah. And now we're actually seeing the repercussions of that, which is basically, or will lead to the fact that it is not about the fight against the virus. This is all about control. To manage people, to move them around, you know, how the government wants them to move around. So this is so against everything I used to believe in, or I still believe in, which is democracy, civil liberties, and the rule of law. And that has been taken away from us now.
Because of Germany's experience with the Nazi Party and the Holocaust, that country, your country, has thought a lot about civil liberties and human rights over the last 80 years. And in fact, Germany has made human rights an important value because it had experienced firsthand what totalitarian violence and Nazism looks like. I think that the world should listen to people like yourself who are warning about this, but why has Germany, I mean, you are a voice for personal freedom and rejecting government authoritarianism. Why has Germany suddenly lost that? I mean, for decades, Germany was actually a liberal force, I think in part because of the Nazi experience. Where's that gone now?
Well, that's in fact what I wonder too. What we have seen over the last decades actually is that a shift has taken place. For one, people, especially in the Western democracies, they no longer consider freedom, civil liberties, and the rule of law as something special, as something that you need to fight for and defend every day. They see it as something God-given that just fell out of the blue sky on one sunny day, and oops, there it was. And people simply seem to have forgotten. No, they had to be fought for, and a lot of people shed blood in obtaining the society that we now can enjoy to live in. You see a different mentality, however, in the Eastern Europe countries, because they remember oppression and totalitarian regimes. They haven't been overthrown. It hasn't been so long. So they still remember, and they see what's coming, and they can feel, and they simply see it, and they know what it feels like. But Western democracies, gosh, I'm sad to say, but it has gotten to a point they no longer care. They take it as something God-given, and anything that is saying anything else, is just being seen as this dissident now. Especially my party, we're considered to be right-wing populists. So a shift has taken place, and we also see this in how people think of civil liberties, that I as a free citizen can move around freely. This is now something considered dangerous because there is a virus, and you need to protect all of the people. They simply don't get, no, it is a violation of my rights. And that's what I'm trying to fight for, and that's what I try to convince people. They need to think about this.
That's an excerpt from my daily show, the Ezra Levant Show. Every day I do a monologue on the news of the day, then I interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. You gotta subscribe. Go to rebelnews.com.